Hi, it's time for another verb of the day. Today's verb is remember. Let's take a look at some of the definitions or ways that we use this verb. The first way you might hear remember used is to bring to mind or to think of someone or something at a later time. Another way to think of this is thinking of someone or something again or multiple times. Perhaps in a conversation with a friend, they might ask if you remember meeting a particular person or acquaintance in the community. A second way to use the verb remember is to mean to keep in mind for attention or consideration. Let me give you an example of this. Today, I need to remember to take out the trash. Okay, so I'm keeping it in my mind for attention. A third way to think of or use this verb remember is to mean to keep in one's memory. So you may need to remember certain words, definitions, formulas, concepts, or ideas for a particular class that you're taking. You should know that remember is a regular verb. To make the progressive tense, all you need to do is add ing to form remembering. The past tense and participle forms of this verb are made by adding ed. The base verb, remember, ends in a voiced R sound. So our ed is going to make a D sound. Remembered, remembered. You'll be happy to know that I don't have any additional phrasal verbs for us to look at or study today, so that's going to allow us to focus on making sentences in the simple present and the simple future. Let's start with the simple present. We use this verb tense to talk about our habits and routines. We also use it to discuss facts or to describe our feelings. The trick with the simple present is remembering that its form will change based on our subject. So if our subject is I, you, we, or they, then you'll just use the base verb in the affirmative. If the subject is he, she, or it, then we need to add an S to the end of the verb, and you'll see that in the example sentence here. He always remembers his wife's birthday and their anniversary. Okay, so this he keeps in his memory. Let's look now at making a negative simple present sentence. And again, it matters what our subject is. So if our subjects are I, you, we, or they, then we're going to use do not in the base verb, or you could use the contraction don't in the base verb. If the subjects are he, she, or it, then we want to use does not and then the base verb. Or again, you could use the contraction doesn't in the base verb. Let's look at another example sentence. I don't remember learning how to parallel park. So I'm not able to have this memory. I'm not able to think of something again or pull it from my mind. If I want to make a yes or no question in the simple present, I'm going to start with do or does, whichever word matches my subject, which comes next, and then we'll have the base verb. Do you remember Bob? Right? So that kind of ties back again to that first definition we looked at earlier in the video. Now let's take a look at the simple future. Today we're going to focus on making sentences with will. We tend to use will to also describe facts, so facts in the future. We use it to make predictions or to make promises or offers. We might also use it to make a quick decision. The nice thing about using will is that our structure is going to be will and the base verb. This is true no matter what our subject is. Okay? So let's look at our affirmatives example. I will always remember my friend and be grateful for her kindness and generosity. This particular sentence is something that has been on my mind lately. I lost a very good friend recently. And part of the verbs I've selected for this week are going to be in honor of her, to remember her. She is someone who had a huge impact on me becoming a teacher of English. So let's look at negative now. To do this, all you'll want to do is use will, not, and then the base verb. Again, doesn't matter what the subject is. You might hear some people use the contraction won't, and you'll see that in my example sentence. They won't remember what you said. Right? So here, maybe someone is making a prediction. If you want to make a yes or no question in the simple future using will, we're going to start with will. Then we'll have our subject, then the base verb. Will you remember to clean the bathroom? So again, kind of going back to that second definition of the verb we looked at earlier. Next, let's take a look at some words and phrases that are related to our verb remember. The first word we're going to look at today is the word remembrance. This is a noun. It can have a couple different meanings. The first definition or way that you might hear it used is to mean the action of remembering the dead or the deceased, especially if that's done in a particular ceremony. Let's look at an example sentence. This plaque will serve as a remembrance of all those who died in the war. So, plaque, you might think of something that hangs on a wall, or it could be on a statue that's engraved. It's meant to last a very long time, and in this particular sentence, it is acting to remember those who have died. A second way you might hear the noun remembrance used is to mean just a memory or a recollection. Here's another example of this. They have many fond remembrances of studying abroad in college. It's probably not super common to hear this usage. In my example sentence, they have many fond memories is probably more common to hear, but the meaning would be the same. Now, let's take a look at a couple phrases. One phrase that you might hear English speakers say is, I can't, we can't, they can't, right? Any sort of subject. Can't remember the last time, and then there's going to be a sort of continuation of that phrase. So many people use this phrase to indicate that it has been a very long time since a particular action or activity happened or occurred. And it's not always literal, so exact. Sometimes it's used to exaggerate. Oh my gosh, I haven't done that in such a long time. So let me use it in an example sentence. I can't remember the last time I ate inside a restaurant. And I know there are a lot of people that feel that way due to the pandemic. It hasn't been safe. I know I've had takeout, but I think maybe February 2020 is the last time I ate inside a restaurant. And the last phrase we're going to look at today is something that's been on my mind. It's the phrase to be remembered as. So this means that someone is having their particular role as it could be in a job, or a particular quality or characteristic is going to be part of their legacy. So what lasts beyond their life here on earth. So here's an example of this phrase in a sentence. She will be remembered as a caring and generous teacher. So again, I'm thinking of my friend who's recently passed, and this is these qualities, her caring, her generosity, are something that will last not only with me, but I know with many other teachers and many other students for as long as we live. Thanks so much for watching today's video. I hope you have a great day.